Welcome to the fight game. I'm Puma. This is Icewater, and we're going to talk about the big fights last week. And Devin Haney against George Cambosis Jr. A unanimous decision by Devin Haney. For me, I didn't even think he lost a round. He really kind of just handled Cambosis and just really kind of just dominated the fight. He's just really a smart fighter. You just see him there. He works his defense. He works his jab. He doesn't take any kind of unnecessary risk. And he just, I mean, it's almost like he goes round by round. He's not looking forward to the next round. He's not thinking about the last round. He's just a complete fighter to me. And would you say that he should be ranked in the pound for pound in the top 10 at this particular point in his career?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you get that many belts, right? He's the undisputed lightweight champion of the world, right? I think by beating Cambosis, I think he deserves some love, definitely in the top 10. You got to think about it. He surprised me from the standpoint of what he went into. He went into the belly of the beast in front of 41,000 fans at Marvel Stadium in Australia. His dad wasn't going to be there because he had some issues with a visa, right? His dad got there 15 hours before the fight.
Right.
And they went to work. Devin Haney had an excellent jab. He dictated the pace and right to a he put on a stellar boxing exhibition. With the way he was his precision, the way he was so precise, it reminded me of Floyd in a way. This way, by the way, he controlled it, and the guy was trying to come after, and he wouldn't let him do it. He just kind of put on the boxing lesson. And we found out later on too that there are a couple of trainers that his dad has brought in, and one of the trainers was Floyd Mayweather Sr. So he's been working with different kind of people, and the way that he showed patience and precision said a lot about Devin Haney. I was just blown away by his approach. I thought it might be a little different though if his dad wasn't there. I still believe that. I think he may not have been as comfortable, but he was. I mean, it was almost a shutout to me. It was perfect. A shutout.
And he brought in Zab Judah's dad also.
Yeah.
And so I was really impressed with that. What I was really impressed with Devin Haney was they were asking about the rematch clause, and if he beat Cambosis, the rematch clause says that he gets a fight in Australia. And he said, "Hey, if I can beat him once here, I can come back and beat him again." It was like it was nothing to him. And I was watching some of the pre-fight stories about Devin Haney, him starting his career in Mexico, fighting some of the tougher fights in Mexico, and it's hard to win fights down there, especially you're not from that culture, but they wanted him to do that because they anticipated that he would have fights in enemy territory, and he did not want him to be distracted by where he was fighting, but keep his fight in the ring. I was just very impressed with him, his dad, and it seemed like his dad wanted to fight after the fight with all the stuff that was going on. I kind of felt that I don't know why his dad wanted to fight, but it's almost like they were trying to keep him out the country to as a disadvantage to Devin Haney.
I agree with that. I think they were. It was tough for the visa, so you kind of you put it all on Devin Haney. If his dad's not there, I think his dad's energy, if nothing else, got him over the hump because he's right there in the corner with the strategy. I think the father was really frustrated because there was a lot of bad blood, things were said, and dad's from the old school. You said this, you still saying it, you got a problem, let's fight now. So the dad was need to calm down though. It wasn't your moment, Dad. I know you mad, you want to tell everybody shut the hell up and people calling you out your name and whatnot, but calm your nerves, bro, because it's your son's moment. He won fair and square, nothing else. Unless they was running their mouths to you, come on, bro, you better than that. Especially you can't be doing that in Australia. They will mob you, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the wrong place to get into a fight.
Yeah, they will mob him. Interested to see what's gonna happen down the line because what's next? I know you said about the rematch. He'll go back and fight the rematch, which is fine. I don't think there'll be any difference, but I think it's time to start looking down the box because I know there's certain things that I want to see with Devin Haney. You got the straps now. You got them, and that's cool. But now let's get into some real bouts, some real money bouts.
Yeah. The fight that we talked about last week is Donaire versus the Monster, and I saw that fight. It ended in a 2-round KO. The Monster looked like he wanted to tear him apart from the jump, walking out into the ring. What's next for the Monster, man?
Well, I mean, he's 23-0. I know, Monster. No way, aka the Monster, 23-0, 20 KOs, right? And he's spectacular in the fighting, one of the legendary fighters in Nonito Donaire, a future Hall of Famer, when he stopped him in the second round. I think he's probably there's a couple places he can go. We can fight at 118, a couple guys he can fight. But he wants to stay at 118. He wants to clear that out. And that's fine, but I don't think there's many major challenges. What I like to see is him moving to 122. All right. 122, we just had this recent fight with Stephen Fulton rallied Daniel, beat Daniel Roman. I think that Stephen Fulton at 122 versus the Monster would be great. I think that would be a great fight because you got guys like that too. He's probably not going to move up to 126. I like seeing him at 126. Got a lot of things can happen there. At 126, you could bring some guys down. You could bring my man, guys, Gonzalez, right? You could bring Chocolatito.
Yeah.
Could be, old school versus new school type thing. Maybe even to the point of 126, bringing my man back down, Gary Russell Jr., right? Or even to the point where you bring my man, just so many different fights. But he might never move up from 122. But if I wanted to see one, he's probably going to try to unify all the belts at 118.
Yeah.
But I would love to see him at 122 versus Stephen Fulton. Yeah,
Stephen Fulton dominated his fight according to the card in the scorecards, 120 to 108, 120 to 108, 119 to 109, unanimous 12-round decision. And I thought Daniel Roman would kind of give him more of a fight, but he has the WBC and WBO World Bantamweight titles, super bantamweight titles. So, any other fights that we missed or you saw that you want to report on?
Well, not so much that I saw, but I know we got some things coming up. June 18th is a light heavyweight championship between Arthur Beterbiev, a unification bout, versus Joe Smith Jr. The WBC, IBF, and WBO titles are on the line. That's going to be a hell of a fight. July 16th, Ryan Garcia versus Javier Fortuna. If Garcia gets through this, he's been running his mouth a little bit, saying he would love to face Devin Haney there too. July 23rd, I know a little bit ahead of this, Alexander Usyk versus Anthony Joshua, the rematch for the WBA, WBO, IBF heavyweight title. And it appears in, coming up in July, Danny Garcia, the Danny Garcia from 147 is going to move up to 154 and is going to try his first hand at 154. He's fighting Jose Benavidez, the younger brother of David Benavidez. Now, Jose Benavidez is 27-1. He's the guy that lost to Terence Crawford at 147.
Right.
He got knocked out later on, but he gave him a pretty good fight. He's recovering from gunshot wounds. So this will be an interesting type situation to see what Danny Garcia does with his first fight at 154. And one last thing before we go, I know they've been talking a lot of stuff, but we already know the one fight I'm not going to speak on because it's too far down the line. But I want to see Devin Haney versus Tank Davis. I need to see that fight.
That would be an interesting fight because I don't know that if Tank Davis could get to Devin Haney because he's so crafty. But if he does, oh my God. If he lands solidly, I don't know.
All I'll say about this, have you seen Tank Davis's last few fights?
Yes, I have, and he has improved. But like when I watch Devin Haney, he's just so crafty in that ring.
He is. But I guess my thing is though, I need to see somebody that can match his energy, and I'm not sure if he's ever had that yet. That's just me with him. Not take from Devin Haney. Devin Haney went over. He got the straps, 4 of them. The guy Cambosis beat Tim from Lopez. That will work there too. Also, too, I know it's a lot, but I always like to throw people in there. You know, one thing they've been talking about, Bob Ram has been salivating for this, throwing Devin Haney in there with Lomachenko.
That was talked about the night of that fight, about Lomachenko coming off the Ukraine war and coming in to battle I think Cambosis, to me, I think he caught Lopez at a low moment. I never really kind of believed that he was the bona fide champion. He caught Lopez at the low moment. Maybe he took him lightly and caught him. But it just seemed like Devin Haney was never in any trouble in this fight. And he just handled himself well. I'm really impressed with him. Really impressed.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, you take nothing from him. He's no longer the guy they called the email champion. Right. They were talking about him. He went over there. He did it, handled his business. He definitely deserves to be in the top 10, pound for pound. Deserves all of the credit in the world. And we'll see. But again, like I said, I wouldn't say it's just about him. It's time for us to see some real fights, man.
Yeah.
It's time for us to get into that. I mean, I'm gonna throw this way out there because I saw them spar before, but I would love to see it. It might be 3 years in the making or whatever, it may never happen. But I would love to see Devin Haney versus my son, Shakir Stevenson.
That would be an excellent fight. Both tacticians, they're both crafty, they're both skillful. Man, all I ask is have some legit judging. And if it's a draw, it's a draw. And whoever wins, but just have some legit judging on that fight, so you don't rob any of these fighters.
Yeah, I'll just say this. The reason why I want to see that fight, if you got on YouTube, there is a tape of years ago when they were real young of them in a sparring session. And I'm telling you, it's classic.
Wow.
It's one of the things that you just go, if they fought today, what would it be like? They both were real young, but it's like, it can give you a preview to the future. And if there's anything, if their matchup, if they ever meet, is anything like they were doing early on, it just makes you go, oh, wow, it's going to be a great fight.
I'm looking forward to it. He's Icewater, I'm Puma, and this is the Fight Game.